This is how to counter the new meta this season. There's cars, nitro, explosives, and just simple mayhem, so here's the workaround. I also want to say I'm loving this season. Everyone else seems to hate it, but I like that there's another skill curve to learn. It reminds me of back in the day when everyone found about Fortnite for the first time and loved learning that building meta. But now we gotta learn this new meta. Other people claim it's a skillless meta, but I think that could not be further from the truth. It might be skillless to get kills, but it takes a whole lot of skill to avoid these easy noob tube broken type of weapons. So if you can avoid these deaths and use those broken items to your advantage, you could easily be getting 20 bombs in every single ranked match. But you need to learn how to stop dying. So let's start with the cars and how to survive that onslaught, and then we'll move on to the nitro and the crossbow exploits. So there's two main types of cars in this new season: the grenade launcher car and the machine gun turret car. And each of these you need to handle differently. Let's start with the grenade launcher car. People will be driving this around and blasting you with explosives, and most people's nervous response is to start building, where you should actually not do this. The builds you throw down will stop the projectile's momentum and have it drop down right next to your wall. Then as they keep shooting, these will build up underneath your builds, eventually knocking you down or killing you behind the wall. This actually kept happening to me in build mode, and it pissed me off. I then needed to record something for my last video in zero build, so I hopped into it and I realized that these grenade cars were actually not the problem, it was how I was reacting to them. Since the grenade projectiles do not explode on impact, the shooter needs to aim so the grenade kind of bounces towards you, and most people are horribly inaccurate at timing this and visualize the bounce, because if you don't build, the grenade has nothing to stop its momentum or get trapped under. And two, you can see these projectiles coming and simply move out of the way. Whereas if you were overbuilding, it'd be hard to see and these grenades would get trapped under and explode you out or kill you. And even if you don't build and the shooter was really accurate at timing the grenade and when it explodes, the nitro fists are super common and you can just dash out of the way before it explodes. So that's how you deal with the grenade car. But the other type of car is the machine gun turret car. And side note, I love seeing all the modded item shop sports cars with the turrets on it. Like that McLaren really got a grenade launcher on it, huh? So please learn what I'm saying in this video so you can actually complete the battle pass before getting too annoyed with this season. And if you haven't copped that yet or are eyeing these item shop skins or car skins, please use code reidtheninja or just another up and coming creator to help us out. But to defend and counter the machine gun turret car, this one I do recommend you build a little bit to protect yourself, unlike the grenade launcher car. Although even if you build a little, don't overbuild, because the turret does have infinite ammo and does a lot of structure damage, so I wouldn't plan on building being your long-term solution either. But this one you should build enough of a mangled sort of structure where they don't know where you're going to peek from next. It could be on top or it could be on the side or below. Once you kind of have that, you can now peek and shoot them. The cars quickly come to a stop when the driver switches seats to the turret seat, so the enemy will be a sitting duck even if they are putting 500 bullets downstream. Of course, that would only be for solos where they need to switch seats to shoot, but even if they have a driver moving them around in duos, trios, or squads, the path of the car is very easy to predict to shoot them. Unlike you, who's on foot and can strafe, the car will likely only be moving forward and you can lead your shot and hit them. But that brings me to my next point. What items and guns should you be necessarily using to counter them? If you can find the explosive crossbow, I highly recommend using this. It feels a lot like the old sniper and hunting rifle in terms of its travel time and bullet drop. And I'm talking about the OG snipers, not the extremely nerfed one from last season. But the crossbow does initial damage if you stick someone, and then a secondary explosive damage around a second later. And of course, even if you completely miss someone but the arrow lands next to them, it will still do that explosive damage if they're close enough. And again, if someone's a sitting duck in a car or not moving, you can easily stick them with an arrow by just peeking for 0.1 microseconds and getting them to panic, maybe even having them switch seats and drive off. Remember, you need to shoot out that windshield first if you want that initial stick damage too. But say you don't get that direct stick onto the player, the arrow will probably connect to the car, doing a lot of mechanical damage, and obviously the best way to get someone out of a car is to just blow it up, or EMP or anvil if they decide to bring those back. So I highly recommend using the crossbow since it's pretty easy to learn, and also for that reason I'm going to be showing you how to counter the crossbow later in this video, so stick around until then. But as I talked about earlier, nitro fists are pretty easy to find. So if a car keeps spamming you, the best way to throw off their aim is to get right up close and personal with the car by fisting it. Pause, I mean fisting towards it. But since you launch yourself pretty quickly, you're hard to track and the turret top moves somewhat slowly, so it'll be hard to hit hit you. Then once you're right on top of the car, either literally or just right next to it, you can shoot the driver and make them get out, or you can simply hop into the car and from there they can't shoot you. Even in duos or trios, if they're in the G-Wagon, this would still work, but obviously if it's in duos and they're in a sports car, that would be a full seated car. Still, you want to get close to it no matter what. But back to the loadout, and for the shotgun, I still like carrying the Gatekeeper for a multitude of reasons that we'll get into, but when you're up close and personal with a solo, duo, or even trio, hitting them close range with all 3 Gatekeeper shots and then switching to your secondary if you need to will get you out of many pinches. But I also like using it because of the exploit meta with the new Nitro item. Obviously, if someone just bursts into your box, if you can land a few Gatekeeper shots on them while they're still in that slam animation, you will win that fight. But obviously, it's not as simple as that. So now let's talk about how to counter the Nitro items. And if you're enjoying so far, please drop a like and invest in the channel because we are going to the moon. But I'm sure, as you guys have guessed by now, the Nitro effect allows any structure you built to be ran through or slammed, just like my ex-girlfriend. Well, just kidding. Well, not really. It's okay though, because she's addicted to drugs now, and my new girlfriend plays Fortnite. W girlfriend in the comments. but regardless of the insane slam effect, the Nitro effect is actually fairly easy to count. I noticed while playing that I was trying to burst through every single piece that my enemy was putting down, but I realized that you couldn't do it against stairs, since you would either run up it or just get stopped by the back side. I then did further exploration and found that it was the same thing for edited cones. So if you keep dying to someone bursting through your walls, start to put up these stairs and edited cones up. For example, my old go-to was just to have a regular cone underneath me for piece control so my enemy didn't sneak their own piece in, but that isn't even the main concern anymore. The concern now is that someone just completely exploits in. So if they do, you need a piece in between you and them, and a wall isn't gonna cut it. A stair inside is good since you can just easily rotate it inside your box and create a right-hand peek, but the triple edited cone is also good since it blocks 2 potential wall entrances completely and the other 2 about halfway, which that's the best you're gonna get. So the days of boxing up with a regular cone underneath you is past us. Now you must box up on top of a stair or an edited cone too. But if you think about it, really that's such a small difference that will completely change how you experience this season and put you on the winning side. But no, everyone just wants to complain about the items instead of thinking about how to counter them and beat them. That's why my subscribers will kill this season and make their first earnings, and everyone else will suffer. So make sure to invest in the channel and drop a like. But on to the explosive crossbow. So this item can be pretty annoying, but it's not as bad to play against as I initially thought. I kept on dying early on to this, thinking it was exploding me and killing me through my builds, but that's actually not the case. I did a very high-tech experiment to see if that was the case, and it was not. Both walls and a roof here were fine, but I think what was happening is I was just getting stuck by the arrow and then running behind cover and dying anyway. The crossbow is really strong, but as I mentioned earlier, it's sort of like the sniper / hunting rifle. So some people will be really good at it and some people won't be. That's why when someone's spamming me with arrows, I actually like to take that aim duel because I think I'll be able to hit them more than they'll be able to hit me. Of course, my strategy is to keep sliding and jumping a bunch because you're a harder target to hit. And even if they're not aiming at you and instead at the ground around you for that explosive damage, sliding and jumping is the perfect way to escape the arrow stuck ground. And back to how I was talking about the grenade launcher car earlier, you don't want to give the enemy a build to stick to and trap that arrow around you. So if you're gonna take one of these aim duels or are simply fighting someone with an explosive crossbow, don't give them a backboard to hit you off of. Having that wall behind you is literally like basketball, it is a backboard for them to hit you. So don't give them that piece just to make it harder for you to escape. And I'm telling you, so many people refuse to learn the meta for this season, which will give you guys, my subscribers, more chances to win and earn. So please use my creator code if I've helped you out. Whether people quit the game or just stagnate in skill, that will leave spots open for you to qualify for these upcoming cash tournaments. So if you haven't heard about the decreased qualifications for the cash cups or the new opportunities to make some money, click this video right here. I talk about why this season might be the easiest to earn in despite this meta shift. There are so many opportunities and you don't want to miss out. Thank you for watching. Use code reidtheninja, and on that note, I am signing off.